Hi, I just picked up this Husqvarna Rider ProFlex from 2003 and I thought it would be interesting to compare it with my Husqvarna Rider 1200 from 1993 because they are both Pro machines. They are of similar size, but as you already have figured out, it's 10 years between them. Let's start this comparison with looking at the cutting decks. And this Rider 1200, it has a 1200 millimeter, 120 centimeter wide cutting deck. So that's the name 1200. This ProFlex 21, it also has a 120 centimeter cutting deck. But the 21 is the number of horsepowers. Is that the way you say it? Oh, anyway, it's the power of the engine. It does not have anything to do with the cutting deck, this name. This cutting deck, it is not a mulching deck. It is rear discharge only. So it cuts the grass and it throws it like with a rear ejection. The advantage of this one is that it can handle very tall and heavy grass because it just throws it out. This cutting deck has mulching, and you can see that you have these kind of circles, it looks like. And the idea is that the grass, it should be cut and recut inside here, like circulating and be cut into really small pieces and then fall into the lawn where it is not visible. Works very well if the lawn is dry and if it's not too long. There is a kind of a blocking plate that you can remove from the rear of this cutting deck, and if you remove it, it will throw the grass backwards, kind of like that one, but it will not be as efficient in high grass as this old cutting deck, because that one it has a really big opening and it does not try to mulch, it just throws it out. But this is a combi style, works very well. If we have a look here, we can see you have this kind of thing there. That is so that you can remove or put the cutting deck into a service position. So you can kind of flip the deck up like that, and then it's much easier to clean it. This cutting deck does not have that feature. It can be removed by removing this pin here and then folding this one out, and yeah, there's some work to it because there should be like a plastic cover here put with screws there. So you're not really meant to remove this cutting deck, well, not in a quick fashion anyhow. So rear eject, mulching, or rear eject. You can see you have two pedals here. That one is forward, that one is reverse. It is exactly the same on this model. You see, so it's forward and reverse. And when it comes to the drive system, there's a little bit of a difference because this one has this knob here. If you press that, then you will lock the rear axle differential. Now there's no axle at all here because it's in the trunk of my car over there. But this is good for when you're plowing snow, or if you get stuck, then you can lock the rear diff, both wheels turn, and it's easier to get out of that situation. This one has an open differential. There's nothing you can do about it. This one has hydraulic servo assisted steering, so it's really easy to turn the steering wheel on this one, and this one is lacking this. It's just some cogs in there and then chain and wire to the rear axle. It's relatively easy to steer this model. I don't think it's hard at all. It's much lighter than, for instance, the Stiga Park without servo. But you do get a lot of bump steer. So if you hit something with your rear axle, it will go into the steering wheel. So you have to be careful if you're going in a bumpy terrain, like holding the steering wheel like this. With that hydraulic servo, that is dampened, so it's easier to drive in rough terrain when you have this servo steering. And if you have something on the tow bar here, it is really hard to steer, because you see the tow bar is on the part that steers, so it's yeah, it's not a great tower. You should have a garden tractor for that. If we have a look at the other controls, you can see here, this is for lifting the cutting deck, this is for the height, and then we have choke and engine control. Very similar here, lifting the height of the cutting, and then we have the choke and the control. This one has a light switch here, and it controls these lights. I kind of like the look of it, but they are halogen, so no LED. This is, yeah, it's the farmer special. I put this on myself, gives a lot of light. I also put this here because if you have a snow plow here, it's very heavy to lift with that handle over there. So I put the winch over there, and then I can control the winch to lift it. On this model here, we have this handle here, and this is hydraulic lift for the attachments. If it's the cutting deck, or if you have a snowplow, or maybe a snowblower or something, then you have a hydraulic ram here, and this one helps you lift. It also has a filter here for the hydraulic system. So the rear axle, it does not only drive the rider, but it also gives hydraulic power to the servo and that lift. There are some differences. For instance, this one has these kind of very simple dampers here. This old module, it actually has some kind of a parallelogram. You see here, it's sort of like a, looks like a scissor or something. So it is very good at dampening bumps. I think it's a very comfortable rider. I have been using this now for a couple of years. I haven't tried this one yet, so I cannot say it's better or worse, but I think the design here is probably better, because the chair can move sort of like, not just like this, but like that, if you understand what I mean. When it comes to engines, this is supposed to have a Kawasaki 21 horsepower engine. It is quite empty here, so that's a problem with this rider, no engine. These Rider 1200, you could get them with a 14 horsepower engine, or you could get an 18 horsepower engine. And later there was a ProFlex model, which sort of like was something between these two. It did not have that hydraulics. It had the Vanguard engine, and it had the locking differential. So there is one model, you could say, between these ones, which is not so advanced, because these hydraulic systems, they can give you some troubles. This one is really simple. It's just like a big Husqvarna Rider, but with more power, twin engine, and this hydrostatic transmission is a little bit more sturdy. It comes with a hydro gear, hydrostatic, and then this is the hydrostatic transmission, which is bolted to a rear axle. So there's one oil in here and another oil in there. So if you change your oil in here, in this one, there are actually two oils to change. The newer Husqvarna Riders, the newer Husqvarna Rider 1200, they could come with Tough Torque K61 or 62 axle. So you could have a different axle on this rider. I think these were the early ones, and then in the middle of the 90s, they got that Tough Torque axle. And there was also a model with 18 horsepower. Maybe I mentioned that. Wheels and tires, they are very similar. They have an 8-inch rim with an 18-inch tire. The smaller riders, the consumer models, they have these 16-inch tires. So they have smaller tires. Bigger tires means better traction, you have better ground clearance, and it's a little bit of a softer ride. But you cannot make the turning radius is a little bit bigger on this machine, because the wheel, it cannot go against that frame. So it means that the bigger riders have a little bit less, or they have a bigger turning radius. It's still pretty good, so nothing to be concerned about, but there is still a little bit of a difference. The hubs you see are on the axle, and then there are screws or nuts there. So it's much easier to remove a wheel if you have a puncture or if you need to do some kind of repair. The smaller riders, they have more of a, you just push that wheel on the axle and they tend to get stuck there. All right, that was just a short video on the differences between the ProFlex 21 and the Rider 1200. If you like Husqvarna Rider and you like these kind of videos, please subscribe to my channel. And if you don't like Husqvarna Riders and you're still here, then I guess thank you very much. So whoever you are, thank you for watching. Bye.